Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's new features webinar, where we're going to be showing you all of the new and exciting features that we have released this past month. My name is Aaron, and I'm a customer experience advocate here at monday.com. I would also like to introduce my colleagues, Omri and Yona, who will be helping me today to answer your questions throughout today's demo. While we give everyone a moment to settle in order to get to know each other a bit, we'd love to know a bit more about you guys. Where are you from and which industries do we have with us today? I see that you're already saying where you're from, but if you can also tell me which industries do we have today, that would be amazing. Amazing. I see so many workflows. Wow, this is great. California. I can barely read everything. That's amazing. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen and hear me now. So if that is not the case at any point during the session, please let us know by writing in the chat box so that we can get it resolved as quickly as possible. Today's session will be made up of two parts. First, we're going to take a look at our new features in action, and then we're going to move into a live Q&A to answer your questions. Throughout the demo, please be sure to add your questions in the dedicated Q&A box at the bottom of the screen instead of the general chat, because you're writing a lot of chats in the chat box. So please, any questions that you have throughout the session, write them on the Q&A box so that Omri and Yona can get to them, and also myself at the end of it. We will try to get to as many questions as we can, but we are a lot of us today, so if we don't get to your specific question, please feel free to check out our user community at community@monday.com, as it's likely someone else has already asked your question there and had it answered. If not, you can reach out to us, support@monday.com. So our email is support@monday.com. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at today's agenda. We're going to be covering today file versioning, done animations, an enhancement of my work feature, new capabilities in WorkDocs, our amazing new bubble chart, two-way sync with Outlook calendar, private boards new functionality. For enterprise accounts, we'll be showing you the admin content directory new feature. And as we usually do in our webinars, we're going to present the app of the month. One thing that I forgot to say is that this recording, this webinar is going to be sent to you within 3 business days to all of you who have subscribed to it. So you'll be receiving in 3 days the recording of it. And then we'll end up with a Q&A session where I'll be addressing all your questions. With that said, let's go ahead and jump over to my monday.com account. While a lot of the features you'll see today have a wide variety of applications, we have decided to use the example of a web design company to demonstrate them. So I have decided to use a template for our template store, and I have applied some changes to it. This provides a nice foundation to get started, and it's fully customizable. You can find it by going to your template center. So you can click here, choose from templates, and then searching for advanced project management. You can either look for it, and it appears as recommended for you. Of course, if you were not aware, we have lots of other boards available in our template center, which is a great way to get started with the most popular workflows. Let's say that you are interested in enhancing your CRM workflow. So you can come here, use one of the CRM templates that we have created for you, and use them as a basis to continue and build your project from there. Specifically with the template that we are going to be working on today, you can plan, track, and manage complex projects across multiple teams and get a high-level view of your entire portfolio. For today's use case, this board will help me manage my web design projects in a high-level view. Now you will be thinking, okay, my work doesn't have anything to do with web design. It's all good. So please don't disconnect if your work has nothing to do with web design or with project management, because all the features that we're going to be showing today can be used with any workflow. This is simply a good way to show the features in context. So just before I jump into answering, can you confirm that you're all hearing me correctly? Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let's start with the features of our last month. Let me first explain a bit of what we have here. So in this board, I have decided that we're going to use this board to keep track of my web design projects in a high-level view. Let's imagine that each of the items is a client of mine. So it's a high-level project, a high-level board where I will see each client as an item. For each client, I will have to create a web design. So they come to me requesting to create a web design. So for them, I will have a people column with a designer, another for the developer, another status column that will tell me what is the status of the project, the project timeline, some designs as file columns, design briefs, some numbers columns where I'll have my hours budgeted, real hours, numbers of pages, a date column with next meeting with a client, and then a drop-down column telling me which language is going to be the web page. Also, you can see we have 3 different groups for upcoming projects, current projects, and completed project. Now that we have a bit of context on what is going on in my workflow, let's see how we can apply the new features into this workflow. To get started, we're going to take a look at our latest feature release on files, which is called file versioning. You can now create versions on top of the files on your board. How is this relevant or important to you? With this new feature, you can now take your file organization one step further by saving multiple versions of the same file in one centralized place so that the whole team is aligned at all times. So for example, in my case, I have different designs per each project, right? So for example, let's come here. This is a completed project for Google to hire. I will click here and I will be able to see the web design that we launched for this client in the past. This would be the final product. However, this was a project that took several versions before getting to the final product. Maybe we had meetings with the client where they asked us that they wanted some changes. And for that reason, and for future projects, it may be relevant for my team to know all the old versions of designs and drafts that we did. Now, you can just click on versions here. So this would be the new feature, and make sure that all your work is saved if needed in the future. As you see here, I have 3 versions of the same file. We can see that they are sorted by the time that they were added, but we can also set an old one to be the current one. So what we see here, this was the first web design, then this was version number 2, and we ended up with the final version number 3. Why this is great? Because when you have several versions of the same file and you want them to keep them all together in one place, this is the feature that will allow you to do so. Not only that, if you just created once and this was your version 1, you can also set it to the current version, or you can also choose to delete a specific version. So again, it's great so that you have all your work, all your files in one centralized place. So now that we have covered this new feature on the files column, we are going to go 1 second back to my board where I'm going to show you something a little bit fun because we have added a small update to our status column. As you may know, our status column is by far one of our most popular column types. So this update is small but very meaningful. As you see here, I have my current projects, my completed projects. So in light of the upcoming holidays, the status columns are back with 2 new sleek animations. So for example, if I change this to completed, you'll see this amazing animation here. I personally love these small details that make our everyday work more enjoyable. As you may have seen, I have also set an automation that when clicking on completed, it has moved the item from the current projects to the completed project. For those who are not familiar with that, Monday has a wide variety of internal automations which you can find in the Automation Center. Our automations allow you to seamlessly automate your processes so that you can consolidate your work and minimize the manual work of your workflows. With that said, I really wanted to tell you that in case that you don't want to have this animation, of course, you can turn it down, clicking on your avatar, then clicking on Monday Labs. And here you'll see the option to not be receiving these done animations. So you can click here, activate, and this will become inactive. Okay, moving on. I want to revisit one of the milestone updates that we added to the platform recently, in case that you are not aware. We recently released a whole new building block to the Monday WorkOS, which is called monday.com WorkDocs. WorkDocs are the first truly collaborative document feature and the next step in making Monday an all-encompassing WorkOS platform for you. We like to think of WorkDocs as this unstructured canvas that allows you to create your own workflow within Monday to bring all of your ideas to a shared workspace. As you may know, you can create a WorkDocs just clicking on Add and click on New Doc. This will prompt you to create the new doc. You can create the doc, and you will have here your canvas to start working on. Now, you might think, okay, this is just like any other document. However, it's much more. Let me show you how I have used my WorkDocs for this workflow. So I have used them as my kickoff design, and I'm going to show it to you here, where I can see all the relevant information for my clients. So for example, let me go to the design brief of Cougar Bowl Tire. So let's see that we have here all the information that us as a company, as developers, we need the information that we need for this client and for the website that they are requiring. First of all, we have some information about them. We have some of the what do the organization do, then what's their position in the market and main competitors, what kind of website they want, e-commerce, lead generation information, what is it that they, what's their objective with the website, and other design requirements. So this is great because this allows you, and the WorkDocs allows you to create the ability to co-edit in real time. This means that your team can instantly share comments, so they can actually tag someone here and drag and drop text and collaborate freely without disrupting each other's experience. For this month, new features, what we have to present is that you can now save one WorkDocs as a template. So this is great. So for example, I know that all my website design briefs are going to be the same. They will have the same structure. So I have created my WorkDocs here. And now I will be able to make this a template. You will see here that this doc is a template. So it's visible to all team members. Anyone can use it from the template center. And it has the same functioning as board templates. So it will be as easy as coming and add, choose from templates, and you will see them under your name of your account. You'll see them here, website design brief. So this is very useful for those documents that you use a lot and you know that you're going to be revisiting them often. So this is definitely a great addition to our WorkDocs. Not only that, but we have also added the ability to use different layouts like side-by-sides. For example, we can click here and create a layout. So you can say, okay, this is going to be a test. And I can also add this a test. So it's 2 columns in the same WorkDocs, or even add a new one. And I can even add several layouts that will personalize the way that my WorkDocs look. Another cool thing that we have created, that we have added in WorkDocs are the tables. Also very, very meaningful when you are trying to show information in tables. You can add more tables, you can add more columns, you can add more rows, or you can just come here and choose to delete them and make them a simple table. So again, all these features just to enhance the existing WorkDocs feature. And also, if you may, I'm going to add that we also have added the option to add GIFs to our WorkDocs, also to make this experience much funnier, more entertaining, and making work better. So again, you can also add GIFs without the need of leaving WorkDocs. How's everyone doing so far? Are you following me? Amazing. Thank you so much. So let's continue with the next feature of this month, which was the bubble chart. So as you may know, you may be familiar with it. We have several views when we're using Monday. So we have the option to add several views. And one of them, which is very powerful, is the chart view. This lets you take information from your board and visualize it in graphs and charts. So if you come here to the settings, you'll be able to add information in pie charts, in bars, in lines, in stacked bar, and you can choose the data you want to show and how you want to present it. So what's the x-axis? What's the y-axis? How big I want it to be? What are the variables that I want to show? So you may be familiar with our bar graphs and pie charts, which is the ones that we usually the most. But for this month, we have added the option to add the bubble chart. Okay, you may think, okay, what am I seeing here? What are these bubbles and why am I seeing them here? They don't make any sense. Okay, let me explain. The bubble chart allows you to display up to 3 different numerical values in relation to each other all in one place. So you may think, why is this relevant for you? Because sometimes the x-axis and y-axis are not enough. And this is the basis of the bar and the stacked bar, is that you only take into account the x-axis and the y. So we usually write the x-axis and the y-axis, correct? So with the bubble chart, you will have now the option to add an extra numerical value into the formula. Let me just explain how this would look. In this board, and I see that I'm going to speak a bit slower for those who are not following. I see that you have, in this board, I have different columns. So hours budgeted, real hours, and number of pages. Let me give some context to it. If I'm a web design company, I have different projects from different clients. So let's say Romeo. Romeo is a client of mine that asked me to do a specific web page. This web page, I estimate that will take 40 pages. So it's a big project. However, because of that, I have budgeted 100 hours and eventually I'm worked 80 hours. Okay, if I want to see, let's say, because here I have only 7 or 8 items, I can see it clear. Okay, I have this one is a big project because it's 40 pages. This one's 5, it's a small project. However, what if I have a lot of clients and I want to see how they are all doing, if I'm budgeting the hours correctly, if the proportion between hours and number of pages is correct. So for example, in this case, I can create a bubble chart. So for example, in this case, I would say the bigger the work, the bigger the website, the bigger the job, the bigger the size of the bubble. So I can see, okay, in this case, I have a Romeo, which is 40 pages. I budgeted 80 hours and it took me 100 hours. Let's imagine that I have a lot of items and I have a lot of projects. So in this case, it would be very convenient to see, okay, why this is so on the right. If it's 12 project page, why should it be here? Like why it took 200 hours? So again, the bubble chart is great for you to see these 3 different metrics, how they interact. And this is a great option to do so. The only thing that you must know is that at this time, when you are setting them, it only takes into account numerical values. So it's not formulas, it's not other columns, it's just number columns at this time. So now, up to this moment, we have covered the files versioning, which is great. We also covered a bit about WorkDocs and the new features that we have included there. And also regarding the chart view, this new chart view that we have added, which is the bubble chart. Now that we have covered this, I'm going to jump on and move on to the next feature, which is the Outlook two-way sync. So let's say that in this use case, I may need to meet with the client. So you know that a web design is very personal and every client will want to have it different. So I have created here a date column. So as you can see here, I can add a time column, a date column, and this is my next meeting with the client. Okay, it's great having it in Monday, but we all know that we sometimes use either external calendars such as Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar. And because we take that into account and we know that you use them, we have added both integrations into monday.com with a two-way synchronization. So the Google Calendar already existed, but for this month, you will be able to integrate your date columns and your boards with Outlook calendars for those who use Outlook. How to get there? It's very easy. Just go to integrate. When you go to integrate, this window will pop up with all the options that you have to integrate with external softwares. So this was the last feature that we added, which was Google Calendar. And now for this month, we have the Outlook calendar. So how this works here, so we said that it's a two-way sync, right? Because it wouldn't make sense to create an item in Monday which appears in Outlook calendar, but not the other way around. So what we want is that everyone is aware of what is going at any times, and we don't want to miss any deadlines or any meetings. So because of that, it's as easy as creating two recipes. So the first one is going to connect Monday with Outlook. You're going to say when an item is created or updated in Monday. Then I'm going to create an event in Outlook calendar and we'll sync future changes from this board. Let's say that the meeting changes, the hour or the date, it will also change. If you change it in Monday, it will also change in Outlook calendar. And also the other way around. So you will have to add one. And then when you have set this one up, you will add this second one to the board. Now, what you're saying is that when an event is created in Outlook calendar, then you're going to create an item in Monday and then sync future changes from Outlook calendar into Monday. So again, it's super easy to use. I really encourage you to start using it. And the same thing that I was saying about Outlook calendar, we have it for Google Calendar for those that are using it. Same structure, same functioning, same idea. Which is true that some of you may work using external calendars. I also encourage you to explore the options that live natively inside your monday.com account, of course. So of course, we have the option of adding a view or adding a calendar view. So one of our views that we have is the calendar view that you can add to be aware of all the events that you have in your board. However, we also have recently added one feature that I believe it's great to keep track of all the tasks you have across your account, which is My Work. So My Work is going to be found here on this left pane under the bell notification and the inbox section. So if we click here on My Work, what we're going to see here is all the tasks that have been assigned to me with a specific date across all boards into the account. So why? This is great because this would be like my agenda. So I can visualize all the work that I have to do for today, for next week, for later on in one place. So for me, before starting my work, I will just click here on My Work and I will have a great view and a great overview on what's for me to do today, tomorrow, or next week. Why this is so cool? Because it's not only for you. If you also want to see what are the tasks for other people in your team, you can also add them here. And then you can keep track of the task of other team members. And also, of course, you can add different boards. In this case, I have a lot of boards that they are not interesting to me. I just want to keep boards for my web design high level on my weekly planner. So for example, if we go 1 second back, you'll see that for my weekly planner, I have to work on monthly budget and do the grocery shopping. This is my weekly planner, and this is a private board, so only me, I can see it. But also for work, I have to make sure that I'm doing all these projects for my clients. Therefore, when I go to My Work, I will be able to see both of them, both Romeo and XYZ, but also I will have my work on monthly budget and grocery shopping. You may be thinking, okay, I already know My Work. What's the new feature for this month? Okay, so because we know that you are going to use it not only for you, but for more people, and because we know that you have a lot of items across your boards, this month we have extended the amount of items that you have that you can add into My Work. Now you can add up to 1,000 items into My Work. So if you have 1,000 items assigned to you across the account, they will appear here. And again, you can add more people so that you can keep track of the tasks of everyone. Of course, needless to say, if someone has a task assigned in a private board, they will not see it. So let's say that, for example, my weekly planner is on a private board. This is private. I only want me to see it. So it's only me in this board. If someone looks at My Work, so they open My Work, then click on customize and they click my name, they will only see the tasks that belong to a main board, but not to a private board. So this is important for me to say, so that we are all on the same page in regards of permissions and restrictions. Another thing that is really important about My Work, new feature, is that we also support sub items. So if you create a sub item, it will also show here as long as you add a person column and a date column. Again, also we have the option to hide done items. So if you want it to be your agenda and you don't want these items to be taking your space on my work, you can just click on hide done items and they will not appear there anymore. And now the biggest thing of this month for my work is that now guests will also have my work. For those who are not familiar with that, with guests, guests are the external users to your account that can see all the shareable boards that you have shared with them. So let's say that this is a private board, but I change it to shareable. I will be able to share my shareable board. I will be able to come here and add a guest. Adding a guest will mean that this is external to my company, and he or she will be able to log into my account, but he will only be able to see the boards that I have shared with him. Again, not only that, but they will also be able to see my work and how it works for them. So again, you will all be able to see your agenda, my work, either if you are a member, either if you are a viewer, or if you are a guest. So you see that I mentioned private boards and the fact that you cannot access them. And this is good because we can make a reminder of what's everything. So as you may know, this private board is not going to appear on any of the users. So if I'm the only one subscribed to it, I'm the only one seeing it. Meaning that if someone comes to this workspace and they will see web design, they will see the document, they will see the docs, but they will not see my weekly planner. Why? Because it's a private board. However, it may happen that I come here and I copy paste this URL and I send it to one of my colleagues. And I say, hey, can you please check this board and see how it looks? So up to now, when you accessed via a link a private board, you just got a message saying, hey, I'm sorry, this board is private and you cannot access it. However, we have added a new option that hopefully will save you some time if the situation arises. So let's say that I share this link here and I'm external to the company. Now, the way that it's going to look is as this. So now it shows this board is private, only members can access it, so no one can see it. However, I can request the access. What this means is that this will send a notification to all board owners requesting you to add you as a member of the board. And I will say it again, this is not something that you will get out of nowhere. If you are not, if you don't receive the URL of this board, you will not be able to see this message. You will not be able to see that these boards exist in the first place. So that is why I think that was important to stress out. Now, before finishing with our app of the month and going into the Q&A section with all the questions that you are writing, I just wanted to present you a new feature that has been released for enterprise accounts only. So this feature is only relevant to enterprise admins at this time, but I think it's important to mention it. It's called the content directory, and it allows enterprise admins to view and manage the content of an account at a high level to ensure that everything remains organized and secure at all times. So I'm going to show you how to look at that. So as you may be familiar, the admin section, click on the avatar. Here you'll see all the options of administration of your account. So for those who have an enterprise account, they will also be able to see from this month on the content directory, where you're going to find an overview of all the workspaces, boards, dashboards, and WorkDocs located in the account. So for each of these features, you'll be able to see its owner, subscribers, creation date, last updated date, and whether it's publicly available to the rest of the account or not. So let me just give you an example. Let's see that I want to know. So for example, this right now, let's see, I don't know how many private boards there are in my account in which Patrick Starr is the owner. So because I cannot see them now as an admin of an enterprise account, I can come here and say, okay, this is a private board. And then who's the owner? Patrick Starr. Okay, now I can see that Patrick Starr is the owner of a private board called Sales Pipeline. Okay, I don't have access to it. And it's important to stress that an admin doesn't have the access to this board because it's a private board and he's not subscribed to it. However, this is important for the admin to know what's going on in the company. And this is also very important, for example, if we are talking about transitions in the company. let's say that Patrick needs to leave the company. If that's the case, I can make sure that I'm passing the ownership of all his board so that there's not any board left without an owner. And again, this is a great way to see what is going on our account. With that said, let's finish up with our app of the month. If you haven't heard, the Monday now has an apps marketplace. This is where you can power up your workflows with third-party apps that I'm going to show you right now that extends the functionality of the platform even further. It's just clicking on the avatar, then clicking on apps marketplace. And then here you'll be able to see all these apps to power your workflow. I really encourage you to see them on a frequent basis because we are adding them constantly. And these are great when it comes to specific limitations of the platform. So that's when these apps come into play and they allow you to take it a bit further. So they will allow you to take your workflow a bit further. Each month, we like to highlight an app that we think our users will find useful in their workflows. You'll see here that you can browse by category. But this month's app is Tracket, which is most relevant for users that require time tracking reporting capabilities. So for those users that will use, for example, if we are going on our web design, are going to be using a lot of time tracking. So more columns, time tracking, adding to the boards. For those people who want to time track, for example, how long it's going to take instead of adding a numbers column. So with the app of the month, which is called Tracket, it's a time tracking solution for adding time entries on existing monday.com items and sub items. Why this is good? Because multiple people are allowed to track time on the same items or sub items. This actually improves the native time tracking that we provide that I showed you now with the column, the time tracking column, because it allows multiple people to track time on the same item, which was a highly requested feature. In short, by using Tracket, you'll be able to get a full insight into your team's capacity and effectiveness. And you can come here, update it, install it, and make sure that you have read the description and the permissions before installing it. And as such, as I said, this month we are presenting Tracket, but I really encourage you to scroll over all the apps that we have, which maybe you discovered that something that you didn't know at all. Okay, so this completes the new features part of our session. We are going to be moving shortly into our Q&A. I see that you have been asking a lot of questions in the Q&A box, and this is what I'm going to do after grabbing a quick sip of water. So if you still have any questions, please make sure that you add them into the Q&A box. We are going to use what we have remaining, which is about 25 minutes to answer all the questions live on here. So make sure that you are answering them. See you now.